Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to A.O.S abroad. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we do apologize for starting a little bit out of time. Um, However, we're actually working on it for you. Do you understand? To give you much more value from all what we have for you today. So I really appreciate everyone joining us now. Really appreciate you taking up your time to taking out of your busy schedule to actually join us today. So today we want to talk about a very wonderful topic, a topic that would really educate every one of us about immigration to Canada, and how you can actually benefit awesomely, humorously, how you can benefit very well from Quebec immigration program. And this was a webinar that was to have taken place actually since Wednesday, 20th June 2024. But due to a lot of, you understand, a lot of activities, especially in the company, we had to actually shift it till today. But we are so glad to actually have it today nonetheless. And we are starting at exactly, um, that would be 8:50 p.m., which is um, 3:50 p.m. here in Canada, which will be 8:50 p.m. in Nigeria. So please, if you can hear me, let me know. Do you understand? I would introduce myself, and at least to begin this session right now, I am Aziz from Ontario, Canada. So let us know where you are joining us from. Let us know your name. I'm Aziz Shudiru from Ontario, Canada. Let us know where you are joining us from. Let us know your name. Let us know your location, and let us actually have to enjoy this together. So, as a kind of information before we start, this is not just only a live session for our clients alone, but it's also a live is also a webinar platform, a webinar session for do you understand? For those who learned, or those, let me say, general webinar for not only us but other people that are joining us on this session. So thank you very much. Really do appreciate. I hope you can see my real face. So this is my real face, as is the last shooter. But today we are going to actually not just be talking about so let us know. Let's do a kind of roll call even before we start. Put your name, put your location, where you are joining us from, and what do you expect from this webinar stroke live session today. For those who are clients, we have said that today we are going to be talking about how to migrate to Quebec with a low CRS, with a low IELTS, and with low TEF or TCF Canada scores. You understand? In other words, how you could relocate with having an English language test with a low scores, having a French language test with a low scores, whether be it IELTS, CLP, or PT, for TEF Canada, whether be it TEF Canada or TCF, and having a low CRS score generally, you understand, using the distinct Quebec immigration stream or immigration system. So please, if you have any form of questions, any questions at all, please drop it on the comment section. And whilst we are going through this webinar, we are going to be explaining to you all what you need to know. So that being said, today we are going to be making use of a slide, and just like our other typical webinars that we do have, please really stay tuned to the end to really learn a great deal from this. So firstly, we have a kind of agenda that we are going to be using today, and the agenda is divided into about eight different levels. Firstly, on the agenda, we'll be having the introduction. Okay, welcome, Mr. Moshood Ayola from Lagos. Really appreciate having you on board. So, just like Mr. Ayola has introduced himself and told us his location, let us know where you are also hearing us from. So, am I audible? And can you see my screen? Am I audible? That's the first question I'll be asking for my own side. Can you see my screen as well and the slides? Can you see my screen and the slides? If you can see it for those that are joining, please let me know. This is very important so that we know that everyone is actually following and no one is left behind. So today there's an agenda. Today we want to talk about the introduction. Secondly, we'll talk about the Quebec Skilled Worker Program, which we know as QSWP. Some people know it as Quebec Regular Skilled Worker Program. Quebec RSW is still the same thing. Some know. So apart from that, we also have programs like Quebec Entrepreneur and Investor Programs. We have Quebec Experience Programs (PEQ). We also have family sponsorship in Quebec. We have French language requirements. We have living and working in Quebec, and we also have the conclusion. So, please, if you have any questions, whilst we are actually having this webinar, you can ask it. But again, at the end of the webinar, we are going to be having our Q&A sessions where we are going to explain, do you understand, everything as regards the immigration. So again, someone is asking me that I can't hear you. There is no volume at all. That's from Munirat Momo. Please, other people that are joining through what do you call it, through YouTube, let me know if you could hear me. Let me know if I'm audible. Let me know if you are seeing the screen. It's very important so that we know that everyone is actually listening in and the information that we are sharing is actually being passed across. So from my own side, I see that audio is actually good. So if it is not good at your
Good
side,
evening, sir.
kindly log in.
There's no volume at all. I can't hear you, please.
All right. Please, maybe you should log in and log out again. Um, Log in and log out again, please. Um, Please, any other person, is any other person listening to me or hearing me very well? It's showing here that my audio is actually working well. So I don't know. Kindly log in and log out again if you are not able to actually communicate with us. So I think I should be able to be audible. If you are not able to hear, if not able to hear very well on StreamYard, maybe you could join again from YouTube, please, please. It's very important. Log in either on YouTube or on StreamYard. That's why we have two platforms we are on. We are not just on StreamYard, we're also on YouTube. So use the link that have been shared with you to actually log in on StreamYard or YouTube. So welcome again, Mrs. Onuba from Lagos. So let's quickly talk about what we have for today. I said, as we are going, whether you are a skilled worker or whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you are a professional seeking opportunities in Quebec, this webinar would actually guide you through the Quebec Skilled Worker Program, the QSWP, and other immigration pathways specific, you understand, to the program. Please, if I'm audible, let me know. Am I audible? Do you understand? Am I audible? Is my voice clear? Can you listen in? Are you listening in? Are you hearing all what I'm saying? So let's actually continue with what we have. So now the question is, who is this webinar for? Who exactly is this webinar for? We have outlined in details who the webinar is for. If you are someone that you are an aspiring traveler or aspiring permanent immigrant willing to learn and to understand, then this is for you. If you don't have any travel history at all, you don't have any and you're tired of your home country and you want to japa, this is also for you. If you're an African, a Caribbean, an European, an Asian, do you understand? An Australian, whether be it back home, you understand, or be it abroad. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Onuba. She says very clear. Mrs. Onuba is saying very audible enough. I really appreciate that. I think things are wrong with the audios of some of the people that are joining. So the issue is not from us. Please check your device that you're making use of. It is your device perhaps that would be having errors, not ours. So again, who is this webinar for? If you are a current international student in Canada, in the UK, in US, in Australia, in Germany, and so all other places, then this is definitely for you. If you are a temporary foreign worker who is currently working with a Canadian, an American, or UK company, this is for you. If you are a spouse with an open or closed work permit, open work permit, and can't become a permanent resident easily, then this is for you. Also, if you are someone that is actually thinking of seeking asylum already and want to actually stay back permanently in Canada, this is for you. If you're a visitor or tourist abroad with visa whose 3 to 6 months visa duration is fast ending, then this is for you. If you're a sole immigrant, a single parent, or a family with a kid or children, and even housemaid, then this is for you. If you are a tech or healthcare professional, a digital nomad, a manager, director, supervisor, this is for you. If you are a business owner, a self-employed, a seasoned investor, a wealthy immigrant or expatriate, then this is for you. If you are a recent national or foreign graduate aspiring to build a career in Canada, then this is for you. If you're an engineer, scientist, doctor, teacher, lawyer, truck driver, or salesperson, this is for you. If you're a tradesperson like a carpenter, a tailor, a plumber, a painter, an hairstylist, a barber, this is for. If you don't even have any certificate at all, you don't have any diploma, you don't have any degree like NCU, NDH, NDB, SC, MSc, PhD, this is for you. If you are struggling, do you understand, with express entry due to old age, whether be it 50, 40 plus, 50 plus, or even 60 plus, then this is for you. If you are with or without IELTS result, CELPIP result, PTE result, F Canada, TCF Canada, DEF result, this is for you. If you are an English and or French speaker or learner and you don't have time or you are not willing to actually study, then this, if you have been rejected or refused a visa application before, or denied even entry to a country, this is for. If you have even gotten banned in recent times or past times in Canada, UK, US, Australia, Belgium, France, and so much other places, then this is for you. I do always say this. Why do you even need to listen? Who exactly is A.O.S abroad? What exactly is A.O.S abroad standing for? What exactly do you need to know about us? Well, I do always tell people I'm a first time successful Canadian PR resident, PR immigrant. The first time I did my PR, by the grace of God, I was actually able to migrate to Canada with the visa I got. However, I'm also a United Kingdom graduate student because I'm also studying my master's in the UK. I'm an international French language teacher. I teach people all over the world the French language. I've also been able to mentor tech experts from 20 plus countries through the use of micromentor.org to actually people from Ghana, people from Australia, people from US, people from India, people from New Zealand, different places, South Africa. I've been able to actually mentor some of them, and I've assisted 350 plus students and immigrants. I also have as a skill. I'm a graduate and I'm a graphic and web designer for past Nigerian companies that I've worked with. I'm also a common law partner by relationship in terms of immigration. I am a data scientist by current profession. What I'm currently doing, what I'm currently studying, masters, I'm studying data science and artificial intelligence in the UK. And I also have a travel business because I'm also a business owner in Ontario, which is fully registered by Canada, do you understand, under the Ontario Business Registry. So perhaps that's these are one of the reasons why you have to actually listen to what I say. But again, the second reason why I believe I am qualified to talk about this immigration topic, the topic of moving to Quebec, is because I've done it myself. I'm not just saying what I didn't do. I have been able to walk the walk, and now I want to talk the talk. Now, my own QSWP story, I've told you what QSWP stands for. It stands for Quebec Skilled Worker Program. My own story was very simple. I had to fail three sad times. I failed TEF Canada in 2018, I failed in 2020, and I even failed DAF C1 in 2021. You understand? But with all the failures, I was able to actually learn what works and I was able to actually better myself because at the end of the day, I was able to excel in DEF B2 and also in TEF Canada B2. And with that, I got C1s in the two what they call it, the two exams, the DELF B2 and the TEF, or let me say I excelled in DELF B2, so I was given a diploma, and in the TEF Canada, I got C1s parallel by 2022. In other words, I was able to migrate in the year 2023 and also coach our other students, coach other clients that we have over the years on how they could do things similar to it. And if you look at the diploma that I got from DELF B2, for instance, from France, you see that this is the what do you call it now? This is the diploma at the top. We also have all the TEF Canada I wrote. I wrote one 2018, wrote one 2021, wrote one 2022. Do you understand? And at the end of the day, on the 15th of September 2022, I was able to actually get what? I was able to get an invitation to present what? A permanent residence, do you understand, application to the province of Quebec. So this was my own journey, even though later on, because I was invited by both Quebec and Ontario, and I chose to come into Ontario, but I was still selected by Quebec. Do you understand? And let's say I wanted to go there, I could have been there by now by God's grace. But again, God willing, I'm still in Ontario, Canada right now. So moving on, let's talk about the introduction. What do we need to learn? What do we need to focus on in this discussion that we're having today? Firstly, Quebec is a province that is in Canada. People always think Quebec is not in Canada. It's actually in Canada. Do you understand? And Quebec is kind of different from all other Canadian provinces. You understand? Because again, based on what we know as the Canada Quebec Accord, which grants Quebec the authority to establish its own immigration policies and tailor its own what its own policies to meet the provincial specific, you understand, needs and priorities. Quebec has a distinct immigration system. They don't work with all other Canadian provinces, or they don't have the same PMPs, for instance, like all other provinces have. Do you understand? And you have to understand this, because if you understand the system, it will really help you to actually make Quebec your new home and your new, you understand, abode for you, yourself, and your family. Now, Certificat de Sélection du Québec. In the introduction, I put this there for you to understand that anybody that wants to come into Canada, come into Quebec specifically, would need this Quebec Skilled Selection Certificate, the CSQ, which is a document issued by the Ministère de l'Immigration, de la Francisation et de l'intégration, which is the MIFI. And these are the ministry that actually certifies, that confirms that an individual has been selected by the Quebec province in order to immigrate to that part of Canada. And the eligibility for Canada permanent residence is that you have to obtain this CSQ, which is a mandatory step for those who want to immigrate. You understand? Once you have received the CSQ, then you can submit a permanent residence application to the federal government of Canada. Just like the permanent resident, the PMPs will tell you that you should submit the nomination certificate that is given to you by a province. I remember when I was working on my own Ontario application, Ontario gave me a nomination certificate. They sent it to my email. That nomination certificate, after I've been invited, after they sent me an invitation letter and I applied to the province, later on they sent me a nomination letter which I now use to apply for express entry in Canada. Similarly, when you get the CSQ, Certificat de Sélection du Québec, when you get that, it is that certificate, it is that document you are going to what submit to Canada, that you are going to submit to the federal government of Canada in order to be issued the permanent residence from Canada. Thank you very much, Venom SSS. You're saying hi, hello. So let's move on to other slides. Now that's the introduction. Apart from, people think that okay, Quebec just being one province just has one immigration. No, that is false. They have numerous programs that you can use to actually immigrate to Quebec. And one of the programs you can use to immigrate to Quebec is the program that we know as the what Quebec Skilled Worker Program. And remember, that was the program I told you that I got selected through. And how does this program works? It works similarly to the way the express entry program works. And for those who knows the express entry of Canada, you know that it is a point-based system which assesses candidates based on various selection factors. Do you understand? And the key eligibility criteria and point system actually has 8 things. Now remember that of express entry just has 7 factors, but that of what Quebec Skilled Worker Program, it has 8 factors. And what is really this the addition, you understand, to the 7 from express entry to the 8 of Quebec is actually that children. People don't know this. People don't know that the more children you have, do you understand? And you are bringing to Canada, especially to Quebec, the more points you are going to get. Do you understand? For Quebec, it doesn't work for other provincial governments or other provinces or territories in Canada. But Quebec is specific. That does not mean that, okay, if you don't have children, you can't move to Quebec. Because again, I will show you, for instance, I myself, when I was elected from Quebec, I didn't have children. Do you understand? And even till now, I don't have any child yet. Do you understand? But that does not mean that a single person cannot go there. Someone that is a common law partner or a spouse of someone cannot go there, like a couple cannot go there, or that does not mean a family cannot go there. But the only thing we want you to know that if you have children, you will also get added points. In addition to the education and training, the work experience, the age, the language proficiency, the common connection to Quebec, the spouse or common law partner characteristics, and the financial self sufficiency. People now always think that, okay, I need to have connection to Quebec before I can go to Quebec. That's a false thing. I didn't have connection in Quebec. I didn't know anybody in Quebec. It was that worse for me. I didn't know anyone, but still, I was still selected. So people always think, okay, you must have French. You might have French, but it's not compulsory. It is not a yardstick. It's not something that if you don't have French, you won't be able to apply. No. Do you understand? It doesn't work that way. Now, the point system, how does it work? For someone that is actually a single applicant, you need to have 50 points minimum. You understand? For Quebec Skilled Worker Program, just like for the Federal Skilled Worker Program under the Express Entry, that you understand requires 67 points. Here, you don't need 67 points. Here, you need 50 points as a single applicant. Do you understand? But as an applicant with a spouse and a common law partner, you need 59 points, which is still even lesser than the points of Express Entry. Express Entry, you say you should have 67 points. You understand? But here, with 50 minimum points, you are good to go. With 59 as a partner or a common law partner, you are very good to go. Do you understand? Now, application process. The application process is that firstly, you need to submit an expression of interest. And for some of our clients, which we will show you, they selected an expression of interest. Once you submit an expression of interest, the province will decide if they are to give you an invitation or not. If they give you an invitation, mind you, the invitation they give you from the province of Quebec is different from the ITA, which you get from what? Which you get from the federal government of Canada under the express entry. Invitation is by the province here. It is when you now apply to the province, you complete the application for getting the CSQ, they assess you. In some situations, they can even run an interview with you. Many a times they don't run interview, but sometimes they do run interview, especially if your application is not complete enough. If they still need to ask you further questions, they may actually run an interview. And you don't always know for time if they will run or not. It is dependent on their own desire to either choose to run, do you understand, an interview or not. Later on, you are going to receive the CSQ. It is from that CSQ you are now going to be able to apply, which I told you is Certificat de Sélection du Québec. It's from that CSQ you'll be able to use to apply for what? Permanent residence through the what? Through the federal government of Canada. Now, that's just one program, the QSWP. The second program is the Entrepreneur and Investor Programs in Quebec. If you are someone that, oh, you tell me that, oh, you are self-employed, or you tell me that, oh, you are a business person, or you say, okay, you are an investor, then there are some programs. If you have a very good network, you can actually, you understand, explore. Do you understand? Because this program is used to attract individuals who can contribute to the province's economic development by either starting a business up in Quebec or investing in a business. Do you understand? So it is designed for individuals who wish to start or who wish to acquire, if you want to buy a business or you want to manage a business in Quebec. And for the entrepreneur requirements, you need to be legal, you need to have a net worth of at least 900,000 Canadian dollars. You understand? A net worth of at least 900 Canadian dollars. I need to have at least 25% ownership if starting a business alone. Or if you're starting it together in a partnership, you need to have at least 51%, you understand, ownership if it is in partnership with another entrepreneur. Do you get it? Now, if you are starting a business, whether be it through partnership or sole proprietorship, you need to be able to have a startup deposit of at least 200,000 Canadian dollars and a security deposit of at least 200 Canadian dollars as well. Do you understand? Which is, of course, refundable because it's a security deposit. Now, it has to meet the business plan's condition. That means you have to write a business plan for it, and you have to actually show that yes, you really. And there are a lot of consultants and immigration lawyers. For instance, our immigration lawyer can also assist people to actually work on this aspect if you're interested in it. And you have to have a relevant experience or management experience in that proposed business sector. If you want to start a business in healthcare, for instance, you need to have managerial expertise in that healthcare. You cannot say you want to start an healthcare business, but you have experience as a tech expert. It doesn't work. You understand? It doesn't align. If you say, okay, you don't want to have an entrepreneur or you don't want to go through the stress of starting a business, you want to buy a business, you understand, or you want to invest in a business, you need to have at least legally acquired a net worth of at least $2 million, and you need to have passive investment of at least $1.2 million in a government approved investment for a period of at least 5 years, and you need to have 2 years of management of business experience within that 5 years preceding the application. And of course, just like everyone, you need to have that genuine intention to actually settle in Quebec. Now let's now move on. That is the second program that we talk about. I'm trying to shorten the programs because I know there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of things you need to know about it. But we are giving you a general overview about what you can actually know about these programs and how you could benefit from the Quebec um, programs, immigration programs. Now, the third program is for someone who, for instance, has been in Quebec, which many of you may not actually have been in, but you have been in Quebec, either you have studied there or you have actually worked as a worker. You understand? That's the Quebec Experience Program, the PEQ. And Programme de l'Expérience de Québécoise is a fast track immigration program designed for immigrants who have already gained either work experience or study experience in Quebec. You understand? So the Programme de Sélection Québécoise aims towards facilitate the transition from temporary residence to permanent residence for those who have integrated into the what? Into the Quebec society and contributed to its economy. In other words, the eligibility criteria for the two main streams, especially the one that deals with study, is that you have at least one for graduates of Quebec educational institutions. So if you went to DLIs in Quebec, you understand, you can get to enter or to immigrate to Quebec through the what? Through the student route. But if you have worked in Quebec maybe for like a year or two, you understand, or as the requirement will state it underneath, then it is for temporary foreign workers. Now, two, you must have obtained an eligible diploma or degree from a recognized Quebec educational institution within the last 36 months. That means within the last 3 years before you can be able to go through the study route of the immigration to Quebec. Or you must have gained at least 24 months of full-time work experience in the last 36 months in a skilled occupation in NOC 0, A or B, for those who are temporary foreign workers who have worked for at least 2 years. You understand? And you must be employed at the time of the employment. That means at the time of your application, you are still working with that employer, you understand, that you want to use. Four, you must have studied in Quebec for at least half of the duration of the program. Many people will say they have transfer programs. Maybe you are doing one program in Quebec, but they still have a partnership with a college in Ontario. So they say, okay, maybe you spend 6 months in this particular province and you go to Ontario to spend another 6 months. Yes, it is allowed, but what they are saying is that you must have at least spent half of the duration. So if the duration of the program is 1 year, you must have at least spent 6 years or 6 months. If the duration of the program is 2 years, you must have at least spent 1 year in that province of Quebec. And you must demonstrate advanced intermediate knowledge of oral French, typically through standardized tests like TEF or TCF, or the completion of a recognized French language program. And this is where it becomes dicey. People always think, yes, it is a must. Yes, there are some programs that it is a must for you to have French knowledge, while there are some programs that if you have it, is an added advantage, but it is not a necessity for you to actually have that. So just put that in your mind. Now, a client review. Mr. Ben, for instance, is someone who worked with us to actually come into Canada. And this is someone that was 25 years of age. He had his OND and HND certificates. He has experience in the tech industry. He has IELTS overall, band 5.5. Now, note this. For express entry, they will say before you can enter the express entry pool, you need to have band 7. But this man had just band 5.5 in his IELTS overall band. His Step Canada level, he had just band 6. You understand? Not even up to 7 again. But again, he had no connection to Quebec. He had no common law partner or spouse partner points because, yes, his spouse didn't actually work with him to immigrate. He did it himself and just added her. And he had no children at all yet. But again, he was able to actually get the invitation we talked about, which is when you have submitted an expression of interest to a province, if they deem you fit to get you selected, they will send you an invitation. So they sent him invitation à présenter une demande de sélection permanente, which is the equivalent of what the notification of invitation or interest that they do send to those who they actually deem qualified, and they sent it on 25th of July 2024 to him. So this is even a recent one. Mine was 2022, but this is a recent invitation from someone that we are currently working with. And what did he have to say? He said, even if I can't really understand everything written, I know for sure, for sure, okay, I know for sure this is an invitation from Quebec, because yes, he started learning French. It was not someone that he had a native like competence in the French language before he went to go and attempt the TEF Canada exam. So it is not compulsory, because people always think that, okay, before I can attempt the exam, the French exam, I must like be like the French person himself. No, he was able to decipher some things in the letter that sent to him, but he didn't even decipher everything. But he says that he knows that yes, this is invitation, and it's all about idea. It's all about you having that basic knowledge, and you understand, attempting to actually take the exam. So thank you, Jesus. Say, oh, good is God. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for everything, sir. I'm really so happy today. So this was on the 25th of July. Now let's move on to other programs. We have talked about um Quebec Skilled Worker Program, which is the QSWP. We have talked about the program, the PEQ, Program Education Experience Canada, Quebec. Do you understand? We have talked about the entrepreneur and the investor program. Now we are talking about the family sponsorship in Quebec. And this is a very vital program, a very important pathway that allows Canadian citizens and permanent residents living in Quebec, you understand, to bring their close family members to Canada. So, for instance, if you have a friend, if you have a family member, a relative who is in Canada, living in Canada, the person can actually help you by sponsoring you to come into Quebec, you understand, through the set of guidelines and procedures. Now, who can they actually bring in? They can bring in spouse or common law, the common people they can bring in, spouse or common law partners. That means a person that is legally married, spouse, or a common law partner who has lived with you for at least 1 year, because again, that's the concept of a common law partner. Someone that has lived with you for at least 1 year in a conjugal relationship, or dependent children, whether biological or adopted children, who are under the age of 22 and are not married or also in a common law partnership relationship. Thirdly, they can apply for inviting parents and grandparents, biological or adoptive parents and grandparents. This category is subject to specific application windows and quotas under the federal immigration framework. People always think these are the only people that they can invite. These are the common people that they allow, but there are still other people that you can actually allow, or you can also sponsor, who may be your relatives, but maybe for instance they don't have other people that can sponsor them, and they can actually use your they can you can actually support them for that. Now, the eligibility criteria for sponsors is that the person be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident living in Quebec and has at least what? At least 18 years of age. Two, the person has demonstrated the financial ability to sponsor the sponsored family member by meeting the minimum necessary income threshold, may need to show past 1 year proof of income. So anybody that wants to sponsor you need to have enough money to be able to cater for your sponsorship. And the person must have signed an undertaking agreement with the Quebec government to support you. If maybe it's a spouse, maybe like 3 years, if it's a children, maybe like 10 years, if it's parents or grandparents for 20 years, you understand? And must not be in default of previous sponsorship undertakings or have declared bankruptcy unless discharged, and must have not been convicted of several or certain crimes under the Quebec, you understand, law. Now, another thing that people always talk about very well when it comes to Quebec immigration is the importance of French proficiency in Quebec immigration. Yes, we do tell people that the importance of French language is in four parts. One, cultural integration. Quebec values its French heritage and culture, so they want people that have that culture and heritage. Two, Quebec values people that have the French proficiency for employment opportunities, because many employers in Canada, in Quebec, require or prefers employees who can speak French. And again, three, education and service. You have access to public services, healthcare, and education, and it is often facilitated through French, even though, of course, there are still some English availability also. And four, for you to be able to meet the immigration criteria, many Quebec immigration programs such as QSWP and Quebec Experience Program have specific French language requirements. But we do always tell people that there's always a statistics. Do you understand? A statistics to the way that they need you to actually have the French proficiency. You can have basic knowledge and you may still be qualified. You might have intermediate knowledge and still be qualified. You might have advanced knowledge and still not be qualified. And you may not even have any French proficiency and still be able to actually move to Quebec. For instance, I had French proficiency, but my spouse, or let me say my common law partner, as at then when I got invited, didn't have French proficiency. And by the virtue of my own proficiency, we were still selected together to actually immigrate. You understand? To Quebec, even though we didn't later select them. So, as Quebec is a predominantly French speaking province, the ability to communicate efficiently in French is essential for successful integration into the community, the workforce, and the society. We have had people that they didn't really know French when they left Nigeria, but when they landed in Quebec, they now started learning the French language. That is also acceptable. Just like people that are going to Italy, for instance. Some people are Nigerians that they are going to Italy, even though some of them are going to Agadez, Nigeria Republic, and the other places. Some of them is when they get there, they learn the Italian language. So there is no fault on you if you don't know the French language or you don't know. It's good, it's preferable, just like they said, it's preferable for you to what? To learn it before you go. But if you don't learn it, that does not mean you can still not survive in that particular province. Because again, just like they say in the stats, 80% of people that move to, you understand, Quebec actually have the TEF Canada examination results, which is the test d'évaluation de français. You understand? 75% of them have the test de connaissance de français. You understand? 20% of them have the diplôme d'études en langue française, and 10% have the diplôme d'approfondi de la langue française, the DAF. And people don't know it that unlike all other Canadian provinces that just requires you to either have TEF results or TCF results, for Quebec, you can also use the Diplôme d'études en langue française, which is the DELF, or the Diplôme approfondi de langue française, which is the DAF, and you still be qualified for their own immigration. And of course, DELF and DAF are even more cheaper than TEF and TCF. So that's another cue for you for those who want to come into Quebec. You can actually take one of those cheaper exams to actually come into Quebec faster and easily. Now, people always ask, how is it like living and working in Quebec? What exactly am I to expect when I'm to immigrate to Quebec? Even though I don't know French, what should I expect? What are the things that I can actually be, you understand, the industries I can work within, where how I can do to survive in Quebec? Now, you have to know that Quebec is one of the most vibrant and economically diverse provinces, you understand, in Canada. And it offers a wealth of opportunities for immigrants. The job market in Quebec is dynamic because there are various industries driving the economy. One, aerospace. Quebec is a global leader in the aerospace industry with major companies like Bombardier, Pratt and Whitney, and CAE operating in the province. And the sector offers numerous jobs if you're in the engineering, manufacturing, research, and development. Some people will always be asking me that why did we put their skill, or why did we tell them that they should use their skill as mechanical engineers there? Because those are the in-demand jobs that they are requiring in that province. Do you understand? If you are just going to the province and you say, okay, you are in business, you are into sales, they may not pick you. There's someone that say yes, he's into mechanical engineer, and he has, you understand, proofs to show that he has actually worked in that field. Do you understand? Information technology and multimedia. Montreal, for instance, the Quebec's largest city, is a hub for IT and multimedia. You understand? The city is renowned for its video game industry with companies like Ubisoft, EA, and WB Games. So there are also many opportunities in software development, AI, and cyber security. So if we say, for instance, that okay, even though you have been into gas filling before, but we see that yes, from your experience, from your knowledge, from your education, you can work in the computer science field, we would most likely tell you to go into the IT field because there are more opportunities there than you working, you understand, in one plant or one four plants there. If you are into biotechnology or pharmaceuticals, Quebec is also a strong biotech and pharmaceutical sector. You understand? It has a strong sector with companies like Medicago and Neomed, and these are companies that you can even browse at. Just Medicago, for instance, just put online on Google jobs at Medicago, Quebec. You'll see a lot of jobs there. You understand? The provinces offer careers in research, clinical trials, and pharmaceutical manufacturing. Even in natural resources, Quebec's vast natural resources include hydroelectric power, mining, and forestry. So the province is a major producer of minerals like gold, iron ore, and nickel, providing jobs to in extraction, processing, and environmental management. In tourism and hospitality, Quebec with its rich cultural heritage, scenic landscapes, and vibrant cities, it makes a very good destination for tourism, and a significant industry has been carved out for jobs that are in demand in the hotels, in the restaurants, in the travel services, and the cultural institutions. Also, it has manufacturing. Quebec manufacturing sector is diverse, covering industries like transportation equipment, food processing, and machinery. So the sector offers a range of skilled and semi-skilled job opportunities for those who actually need them. Some people will be asking me that, okay, I was talking about myself, who is, as you can see, I'm a young boy, and I also talked about Mr. Ben, who is also a young boy. What of other people that can also migrate to Canada? Now, good, Mr. Olubenga is asking, is caregiving in high demand in Quebec? Just like I showed you right now, I showed you the industries that are in high demand. Do you understand? Caregiving was not mentioned. Do you understand? That does not mean that it may not be in it may be in high demand depending on the time. The timing. It is all about timing. The timing that we had now, these are what is in high demand. In some other times, they may have high demand of other caregiving and other roles. But what is in high demand now, even tomorrow, there may be other high demand caregiving roles. But the ones that we are saying that is in high demand, and the reason why we actually select many for many clients, you understand, is that we mentioned. Now, some people will be asking that, okay, please, you are talking about young people, 25-year-old, you're talking about you yourself that you're even like about close to 30. What of people that are 40? What of people that are 50? What of people that are 60? Because people always look for one way to make excuses. And I do tell people, even if you are old, age is a major factor, but that does not mean it is a limitation in immigration. Even if you are 45 plus, you have seen people that are 45 plus, 56 plus, mothers who actually moved to Canada. Some had just masters, some had BSc. Do you understand? And they moved. Some they had their experience in health and in engineering industry, and they moved. Some had IELTS overall band 8 and TEF Canada band NCSE 8. They moved. No PR connections to Canada at all. No common law partner or spouse point, partner point. They had 6 children each, and they were still able to move, like in the cases of Mrs. Enkiru and Mrs. Eze. Do you understand? They were still able to actually get that ITA, you understand, and be able to actually use what they have to get what they want. And that's what all immigration is all about. Just like they said, oh my God, are you serious? God, I thank you. Aziz, let me calm down. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. God bless. I told you that the best is left for the last, and this will all end in praise. Now, this is someone that has been with us for above like 7 months or 8 months. But something about permanent residence, especially for people that want something that will last, it's not like it's not like a visa that you will have today and tomorrow they will tell you that it have expired, or that you just go and get something and at the end of the day you have to now go and be trying to switch from one visa to another. Something that will last takes time. You cannot expect to get something that will last you and that will even lead you to citizenship. You can't expect to get it easily. Nothing that is worthwhile is gotten easily anywhere. Mark my words. So like this woman now, she said it. This is someone that even before she met us, she has been working on PR herself. She wasn't able to get it. She got her ELTS several times, TEF Canada several times before she was able to get her results. So people have found out that people that have done things themselves before, they kind of value what other people do for them later on. Do you understand? They value it more. But people that have not even stretched themselves, that's why we always tell people, if you are not okay with what we are doing, if you're not willing to wait, if you're not willing to actually be be steadfast with what we are doing, be involved in the process as well, no problem. We have gone beyond that age of just telling people that okay, this thing is big. We are not Canada, we are not IRCC, we are not Quebec, but we'll make sure that the best that we can do for you is being done. And if there are hiccups, if there are delays, if there are this, we are okay. We don't force people to work with us. We have gone beyond that stage. We are okay to say, okay, we will refund the money of the services that we have not been able to do. We'll refund it back to the person. But this is a woman that about 2, 3 clients, we have given them their money within that time, and we're telling this woman that time, and she was saying she's okay waiting. She knows what it takes. This is a woman that she has 2 children in Canada. She has spent over 50 million naira on the education of the 2 children. She has part of her 6 children. And this is someone that when she came to us, she said that she's trying to actually meet up the September intake so that she doesn't have to pay another international student fee for her two children, which will be more than 50 million again. That was when she said she needed to get that PR so that her children can actually switch from being international students to becoming local students, so that once they become local students, they will be able to get access to grants, access to bursaries from the government, just like again our common law, my own common law partner is getting now. She's schooling almost entirely for free because she just had WAEC, she came in, now she's studying in the college, and the government are actually paying her to study. So the benefit of you waiting, the benefit of you coming down to get PR, it far outweighs any other thing. This is someone that she has seen it before she even came to us, spending millions of naira, tens of millions of naira, and she knows that if the two children are still studying and another children finish school now, secondary school, and now also want to go to Canada, she will be spending like 75 million just per session. At the end of the day, she had to calm down herself. So as she said, I keep on thanking God the day I stumbled on you. No one directed me to you. I just saw you online, and we have found that some people that they even refer to us, they are the one that stress us the most. And that's why at the end of the day, we tend to actually leave those kind of people. People that see us online and value what we do, they would wait on and actually get what, by God's grace, God wants them to get. But again, as I do always say, we cannot always work with everybody. There are some people that will work with us and will get what they want. And there are some people that, whether we like it or not, they will not get it. It's just the fact. Let's just be frank with ourselves. So that is why we always put that window that if we are not able to get what, okay, we have talked too much, it seems our mouth is too sweet. Well, we were not able to get you, we are okay to refund you, and everyone goes its way. This year we have refunded some people and we are fine with it. And again, for those who waited, we have also gotten very good testimonials from them that we too, we are glad from at the end of the day that yes, for those who waited, by God's grace, God still helped them to get what they wanted. So she just said, I just saw you online and knew that this is the person for me. Some said I have been scammed, but my instinct doesn't lie. You go far in life. I say, thank you very much, Ma, for praying that wonderful prayer. You too, you go far in life in Canada and above, and your children too that are already in Canada studying. Also, she said, okay, Mrs. Eze said, this is wonderful. I am so happy when I saw your message in church. Naturally, I was humbled about the French results. With IELTS and TEF Canada results being banned 8.0, God's hand is in this. My instincts do not lie. Nobody referred me. I had, okay, similar to what Mrs. Nkiritu said, I had peace training with you and never doubted you. This is what I have been looking for. Okay, now, okay, we have spent time in that. Let's move on to the quality of life considerations, especially in Quebec, because again, we have been talking about Quebec. Now, the cost of living, people always, okay, Mrs. Momo Munirat from Lagos, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you joining. We also have Mrs. Hanayo Emenike from Enugu. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate you coming on board. So, for those who want to come to Quebec, you have to know that because people always complain. We have had scenarios that even people that are in Canada are complaining about Canada. That's the fact. Especially people in Ontario, for instance. Someone reached out to me and told me that he heard someone telling him that Ontario is expensive. It is more or less becoming like Nigeria. It's becoming like Lagos. And I was just smiling because I know that was the same Ontario me I was coming. It is the same Ontario I am currently living. And I am enjoying my own time here in Ontario. And other people too are complaining. Why? Because people fail to understand that the thing that worked for Mr. A may not work for Mr. B. It's a very simple phenomenon of life. Some people may get married, and it's that be a marriage that will cause them to, you understand, their life to end, sadly. And some people may not marry and they'll be enjoying their life. Similarly, the cost of living in Canada, especially in places like Ontario, it may be, especially for those who are saying, okay, I want to stay in Toronto, I want to stay in where everything is buzzing. You have to pay money for that urban life. You will pay more than someone that is staying in the rural. I do always tell people the rural area that some people categorize as rural area in Canada is much more better than the urban life in Nigeria. Sorry that I'm comparing, but I just have to tell you the truth. So housing costs vary significantly between urban and rural areas. Cities like Montreal, Quebec City offer diverse housing options from apartments to single family homes, but it may cost more because it's a city, Montreal. But people that are in like other localities like Gatineau, people that are in other places that are outskirts of cities, they tend to pay cheaper. They tend to have more cost of living, enjoy more. You understand? Transportation, an extensive public transport system, particularly in Montreal and Quebec, are also available. Healthcare offers the Quebec offers comprehensive public healthcare, which is accessible to all residents. Now, when they are talking about residents, please note it is accessible to those who are permanent residents, and they may not really pay for it. But for those who are temporary residents, we have had situations where students are paying their own healthcare, visitors are paying their own healthcare, because again, you are here temporarily. They don't factor you in into the what into the public services. But if you are here as a permanent resident, here as a citizen, you get to benefit from all this. Now, education and schools, just like I told you, the scenario of Mrs. Inkiru, for instance, where her children was paying tens of thousands of dollars per month, per semester to actually study here. But if you are here under the Quebec, it has a robust education system with the options of public and private schooling, and many of the provinces offer education in both English and French. People don't know that. People think since Quebec is a French-speaking country, then the only country, I mean, French-speaking province, the only language they speak is in French. No, they also have English programs. They also have English schools. They also have places you can actually, depending on, even public schools also have that dual language, you understand, available. Now, childcare, you also have affordable childcare services, with the provinces offering subsidized daycare programs for, again, permanent residents and citizens. If you are a temporary resident, you are a student visitor, you may not get that advantage. Cuisine, Quebec boasts a rich culinary tradition, blending the French and the North American influences. Do you understand? And please note, the outdoor activities, the province's diverse landscape offer ample opportunities for outdoor activities like skiing, like hiking, like water sports, and the natural parks and nature reserves are provided for beautiful cities settings for recreational activities. Now, the community and lifestyle, Quebec City are known for vibrant art sceneries, bustling life, nightlife, and diverse communities. The province also values family and community life, offering a range of community services and recreational activities and festivals and events. They are also known for their lively cultural scenery with numerous festivals, events, and cultural activities throughout the year. Now we come to the Q&A session. You can now engage with experts and get personalized advice and answers to your specific questions. And I believe that at the end of this webinar, participants can now have a comprehensive understanding of the various immigration pathways available in Quebec and the specific requirements for successful immigration to this province. Any question at all, this is the time to actually ask us. I really appreciate. I brushed through that so that we could have time to ask questions, and we should go on the website of Canada. Some of the things we have said, you can actually see it on the website, but again, we brought it here through the slide to explain to you just in brief before we call it a day. So any questions at all before we go on the website so that we can all learn from ourselves? If you have any questions, you can put it on the chat section. You can also have times. We have a 5-minute clarity call link, aos.name.ng/5 minutes. If you want to also learn about many of these programs we are talking about and to actually get started with your immigration, for those who are just joining us on YouTube, because as I said, this is not only for our clients today. Today we were running on webinar and live session for our clients. So our clients are on this platform on this as well, and even people from outside are actually joining this webinar today. So aos.name.ng, you can go on that link to also learn more, and if you want to get started, and if you want to shoot us an email, admin@aosacademy.com. Some people always ask about our WhatsApp number. Go on that first link, aos.name.ng/5 minutes. Once you book a 5-minute clarity call, you will get our WhatsApp number. So someone said I have been joined. Okay, Mrs. Maureen said I have been struggling to join. I didn't get to understand the discussion. Yeah, so sorry, ma. Well, that's the beauty of our sessions. We always have it recorded. So even after this live session, it is recorded, so you can always go back to it. So we'll share you the link on. I think she's one of our clients. We'll share you the link on our WhatsApp, private WhatsApp group, so that you can always go back to You understand? Watch the discussion. And if you have any questions, since you're on our platforms, you can always ask your own personalized questions, and you understand, get to learn more from us through the groups. So, okay, I've opened that of the Quebec, um, what they call it now, the Quebec website. The Quebec website, people think the Quebec website is the same with that of Canada, and it's kind of different. It's not the same, it's different. Do you understand? So that is why, if you want to actually learn about the Quebec website or the Quebec immigration, the place you are meant to actually go to is quebec.ca slash immigration. And I'll put the, let me even put the link. I'll put the link on the comment section now. So if you want to learn anything, to learn about Quebec immigration, just go on this website that I've shared on the um what they call it now, the comment section. So the Quebec immigration website is www.quebec.ca/en/immigration for the English version. So here you are going to learn, just like they say, Harima, to learn French, immigrate to Quebec, take a study trip, and get help to facilitate your immigration. So here, if we scroll down, if you want to actually start creating an expression of interest, it is this Arima portal you are going to click on. Do you understand? You get directed to the Arima portal, and you'll be able to start creating an account, sign it on to your Arima portal. For some of our clients that we have already registered for, especially if you have some of the requirements of the program, we have completed an expression of interest for some of you. For like the clients that got selected this week, for instance, it was through that platform we created the expression of interest. It is from through that platform we also submit his application and register for integration services for immigrants. Now, year two, you can also, people don't even know it, that you can learn French here. You can also join a francisation course, especially for those that are already in Quebec, though. You understand? And French courses offered, and also financial assistance for, again, those that are in Quebec. Now, you can also immigrate permanently to Quebec, find out about the procedures for immigrating as a skilled worker or as an entrepreneur, then about the requirements for sponsoring a family member. All what we said in our, you understand, webinar was actually gathered from here. Now, Quebec, work in Quebec programs and assistance for international workers who want to work, who want to come and work in Quebec. Period of study in Quebec, everything you need to know about the process of coming and studying in Quebec, settle and integration in Quebec, the information and advice to ease your settlement and successfully integrate into the what, into the Quebec refugee. So people don't even know it. People also apply for refugee and asylum in Quebec. You can also go through to learn about the information on procedures about relating to, you understand, refugee and asylum. You can also contact an integration support officer for advice and free support services. You can also learn French to immigrate to Quebec and consult the government French course offer. And again, just like you said, the government French, many of them are actually given to those who are in Quebec, those are citizens that are citizens of Canada living in Quebec, those that are permanent residents living in Quebec, and also information about agriculture, environment, and natural, and all these ones are also well listed there. So I would not like to go back again to say most of all what we have said in the what do they call it now, in the webinar. But if you have any questions even after this and you want to get from the horse's mouth, that is a link that you can actually go through. So any questions, programs for skilled workers, if you click on this, for instance, it will take you to many of those programs we talked. I talked about Quebec Skilled Worker Program, or the one they call Quebec Regular Skilled Worker Program, RSW. This is it. For those who are either in Quebec or that are either abroad that wants to come in. This is for people that have studied or have worked in Quebec. And this is for someone that want to get an open work permit that is valid for at most 3 years. Permanent immigration pilots for those who are working in the food processing, foreign temporary workers, those that are already in Canada. Do you understand? Pilot program for temporary workers who work as orderlies, and the pilot program which is aimed at workers in three sectors in the demand in Quebec, including artificial intelligence. Many of these programs, we have found out that many of them may not actually even be centered to people in Nigeria or people that are abroad. So that's why we didn't really talk about them. But the ones that are very much popular and the ones that we, for instance, we have used to actually get people their invitations to get people into the country and into that province is the one we have talked about in our webinar for today. So, a question: is it possible for A.O.S to get family that bears our name to improve our points, even if it will require a token? That's a very sensitive topic, sir. And in a nutshell, no. But again, we always try to assist people. If you have families that are lost in Quebec or lost in Canada, like families that you know that are there, but you are not able to reach out to them, then if we are able to interrogate or we are able to talk with you and learn more about them and try to actually do some search, we can try to get someone. You understand? We can try to see how we could get them, you understand, for you. But again, I hear about people that actually get families for people, friends and stuff, but I'm not into that. You understand? That kind of business. We didn't need anybody when we were coming. Just like I've explained quite a lot of time to people, we didn't need anybody. Even people that were selected from Quebec too, they didn't need anybody. Do you understand? And they were actually selected. So if they can do it, you too can do it. But the only thing is that you have to work together with us to make sure that actually works. Some people charge for it. We know of people that say they charge for it, but we can find out about that and, you understand, send you anything that we hear about that later on though. Okay, so another question, for example, I am about to pass through the immigration officers. Is it a must I need to communicate in French with them? And can this disqualify me as permanent resident or stop me from passing? Very good question. Now, if you are in, I remember when we landed in Ontario, we were not required to speak French. But again, Ontario is an English speaking province. Also, in Quebec, every government official that you have the opportunity to meet, most of them, because one of the requirements that you be able to actually work with the government of Canada is that you must be able to be bilingual. You must be able to speak both English and French. Do you understand? So you have to be able to communicate either in English or French. Now, the immigration officer may say, okay, no problem. You want to speak, you may decide that, oh, please, can I speak in English? You ask them. If they say yes, you speak with them in English. But again, visa officers are not obliged. They are not, it is not mandatory on them to grant your request. Now, you have to note that they can decide to grant it, note that, but they are not mandated. So they can tell you that, okay, yes, I'll speak in English, but after that I speak in French, or yes, I just want to speak in French, or yes, I'll speak in English with you. So they expect that, okay, for instance, if you tell them that you can speak French in your application, we do tell people know at least the basics. You understand? There's one of our clients that actually, at the end of the day, when we were telling her, you have been selected, you were even selected by a province that doesn't even speak English, that doesn't require French, that requires English. But you need to know that French, at least know basics. Je m'appelle, tu m'appelles, do something. You understand? No, so you have to know the basics. It may be a reason for you to get disqualified if there are still other what do you call it, other proofs or other things that make them feel suspicious of you. Do you understand? Language alone may not be a basis of disqualification, but if they feel that, okay, you have this language, do you understand, and you are not able to converse, it may raise a red flag. They may feel that, okay, how were you not able to get, do you understand, a language test result? That may be another red flag. So they may, it's something about, it's just like police officers too. When they stop you, one offense may not be enough to actually convict you. But if you have two, three, four offenses, and most like times visa officers are trained to actually ask more questions. Just like, even though Canada doesn't really require you to go for appointment and visit a visa officer and talk to him, many a times when they have a reason to call you, when they have a reason to talk to you, and you are not able to give them genuine responses, You understand? They may now go deep into your application and see many irrelevancies that they will use to actually disqualify you. Do you understand? So because they have to see that you have so much issues that they cannot just overlook one problem or one issue you face. So we do tell people, try to, just like we advise people, make sure your application is well detailed. Submit a detailed application that doesn't need them asking further questions. That's one of the things that helped us in our own time. We submitted things that, yes, they knew that, okay, every question a visa officer may have, you have already answered it in your application. Likewise, in your own person, someone that you're working with may just do their best by just, you understand, helping you submit an application, doing things for you. But it is still you that have that visa. It is still you that have to defend it yourself. So you have to make sure that everything that a visa officer has about you, you're able to defend it. You have proofs. I remember when we were coming to Canada that time, I took like clear bag, clear bag, and put all the information, all the document that I submitted, and I was holding it because I know that I may even forget. You are at the liberty to say, oh, please, I forgot some. Can I just cross check my document to be sure that yes, this is what, so that you don't say something that will implicate you, so that you don't boss it back by one, as Yoruba will say, because they are deporting people now. We do hear it from the news at the port of entry. So people that even get visas, visitor visa, study visa, all these things, they are deporting them. Even people that are seeking refuge, they are deporting people. So especially if they even check your phone and see that maybe you say you are a visitor, you want to visit Canada, but you already asking someone that, okay, can I get a job in Canada? Some people, they are deporting them on that basis. But they will not deport them on that sole thing. They will look for their phone, they will look for other things that they will use to actually tame them. Other proofs, three, four different things, so that they know that yes, they have a strong case to use to back up, you understand, your deportation. And that is why when a visa officer refuses you, most times they don't just always give you one reason. They will list like three, four reasons because they need a strong case for that, you understand, denial. So don't give them a strong case against your French proficiency. I hope that answers the question. Okay, that's a very good question. Any other question before we call it a day? We have gone beyond 1 hour, and we would like to have just 3 more minutes, 3 more minutes before the end of this, before we call it a day. All right, someone is saying tension is really building our body, bro. But we will keep waiting then, and hopefully God will sort us out. That's the feeling. God will sort out everyone. That's always our prayer too. Even many of our clients that we have been working with, they're always looking up to God. There are just so much we can do as people, but God will do the rest for every one of us. And let's just make sure that we're also working towards everything we're doing. We are not just I do always tell people that the time that you are waiting, make good use of that time. Like for the French that Mr. Ben asked now, for instance, if you are someone that needs to learn French, if you are someone that starts using that good time. I told you that I was denied French. I did my own French exam for 3 good times before I was able to get my results. You understand? I showed you proof of that. I didn't just wait. That's okay. After the first denial, I'm waiting and okay, making the time that you are waiting, use it to improve yourself. Use it to get a second language proficiency. Use it to get another certificate or degree or diploma. Just don't be waiting and just saying, okay, God will do it. God can do things, no doubt, but the more you are also active, you're also, you understand, intentional about what you want, the faster God will also help to make things happen. Is French compulsory for Quebec PR application? I think we have talked about that. Please go through the webinar we had. We have talked about everything extensively previously. So depending on the program you want to do, you would find out if it is compulsory or not. Just this is a recorded webinar, so you can go back and watch all other things that we have said about it. So with that being said, thank you very, very much everyone for, I think we don't have any other questions again. If we don't have any other questions, we'll call it a day, and we do hope to, if you want us to actually work with you, if you want to be part of us, just go to any of those links, click aos.name.ng/5 minutes. You can talk to a person through our 5 minutes clarity call. If you want to actually get started with your immigration, aos.name.ng, or want to send us an email, admin@aosacademy.com. So thank you very much, everyone, and do have a very wonderful day ahead. Au revoir.